Greetings and welcome back to SmartWatch Ticks. You know, we haven't had a watch in for quite a while. I know, I'm feeling the pain too. So I started to look around and go, what kind of a video can I make to tide us over until like the Z-Blaze Thor comes in? And guess what? While I was rummaging through the hard drive, I noticed in terms of watch faces, you remember I used to do a monthly parade of watch faces that would run on the Finau type watches and the number one watches, the Android stock watch face expansion into custom design faces. And I kind of gave up at the end of the year. It was just too much with everything that was coming. But you know what? I never did a December 2016 parade of watch faces. And I went through all the effort of collecting them, archiving them, making the zip file for you guys, but I never showed them to you. So we're going to do that. We're going to do that right now and catch up. I know it's May 2017. Check that out. Isn't that sweet? But I wanted to show you this on a production Finau X5, which Gearbest sent us. And you can check the price and connection links down in the show notes below if you'd like to pick up this wonderful watch. It really is a solid workhorse. It's been around for quite a while now, the Finau X5 Plus. We're going to take a look at watch faces on here. All of these now are custom faces that were designed between beginning of December and the end of December 2016. So some of them may be Christmas oriented, some of them are just generic, but they all run on the Finau class of watches, all of them, the original X5 as well as the X5 Plus, the X1, the X3, the X3 Plus. I don't know, you remember them all. Look at that, that's fun with the second hands, isn't it? 1005 3D kind. You know, if you put on those fun glasses, the red-blue glasses you used to wear in the 3D movies, I bet this would look really hot. Interesting. Now, all of these watch faces are being shown here in alphabetical order based on the name the developers gave to each of the watch faces for that window of time that happened in December 2016. I think there's about 90 or so of these watch faces on this watch. And really glad that we finally get to show them off to you because they are great inventions. By December of last year, the watch face designers had gotten really good. Look at this stuff going. Look at the slow motion, the fast turning. They've become really versed in watch face design. And these represent some of the best. Until 2017 kicked in. Now, these all come to us from developers who have posted their watch faces on the Round Android Smartwatch Watch Face G Plus community. That's a special place because it's one of those administered websites where developers who create their works and post them there follow some pretty rigid guidelines in terms of making sure they acknowledge the sources of their information. For example, if there's a logo appearing, they pay attribution. They honor the developer logo by giving a link or connection to where it came from, whether that's a watch or a car or a soda can. If it's there, then they try and do that. They try to, give some appreciation to where that came from. Secondly, and really important as well, is if they've taken a watch face design, let's say this one, I don't know for sure, but let's say it was created by someone else, and then they pick that up from some other source and they modify it, adjust it, or fix it so it'll run on this platform if it wasn't designed for this platform, then we asked them to do something called to pay homage to the original creator of the watch face. And that's only the right thing to do. A lot of time goes into this. So if the original creator of this isn't the person who's posting it, then we invite them strongly to pay homage to the original developer. So we've got a place for attribution and a place for homage in each of these watch faces that you're seeing here. And that makes it extra special because then the watch faces that you've got are, they've really been well thought through, well developed, and they're integrated within the community. And it's all due to the persistence of the administrators of the G Plus community. And we really acknowledge the hard work that they're doing. And that one's a little busy for me. I'm not sure that the foreground shouldn't be in the background. And here's a classic example. If somebody grabbed that, modified it a little bit, suppressed these rotating graphics behind the digital stuff, and tweaked it, and then reposted it with homage to the original creator, now you've got an enhancement to an existing watch face. And that's a pretty cool thing to do. It's how we keep growing. Okay, some more really nice black and white digital high contrast and fine detail watch faces. And a lot more to say about this. First of all, you can get these watch faces, each one that you're seeing, directly from the developer's web page posting on the G Plus community. The way they do that is they usually put their their clock skin, their watch face design, they put that in a zip file and they put it on their Google Drive or some other source for sending it out, for making it available. They get a link to that, and then what they do is they create a thread or a page in the G Plus community. Check out all the different blue colors there. Nice. And in that page, they give a description, they give the appropriate attribution and homage, and they add the link. So when you go to that web page, you get to see the picture of what the watch looks like. And some of them that have animation, they've even made those GIF files so you can actually see it as if it were running and get a feel for it. Now, if you like this one, this particular Casio watch, you could then, from that page in the G Plus community, click on the link, and that would take you to their download page where you could download it to your computer, prep it with all the instructions we've given in many, many other videos, move that folder into your clock skin folder in your Finau or number one watch, Android watch, and boom, the watch face would show up just like it is now for you to use however you want on your watch. Okay? That's how this whole thing operates. Nice. Wow. This is the first time, by the way, that I'm actually looking at them. When I go through the process of grabbing them and setting them up and prepping the zip file to give you guys access to the links to get these watches, I don't actually really play with them on the watch. It's only when I install them one by one myself that I really get a chance to see them. And I kind of hold that off until the video so that I could just be surprised right along with you. There's a nice Christmas one. And look at all the lights blinking. I know, it's Christmas in May. Sorry. But, you might not be watching this until like November of 2017. So, ta-da! You got yourself a Christmas watch. Yeah, I love YouTube for that fact. We do this once, and it lives up there forever. I tell you, the vendors that are sending the watches for us to show you really love it too, because sometimes somebody will find out about a watch 6 months after we've done a video, but it's brand new for them. Now, here's an example. Anyway, and so they'll go look at the video, and then it's all fresh, and we try to keep the buying links up to date, and then they can buy that watch as if it was just brand new, even though the video was a long time ago. You can see from the thumbnail that there's supposed to be a background here. You can see from the foreground that it's not there. This is common, not as common as it used to be, but it is happening when a developer throws up a new design, but they don't quite know really how the engine works, and so it comes out a little funky like that. It's a great opportunity for you who are exploring coding to actually get in there and modify that, see if you can fix it, bring that background back up again. Or the developer themselves might do it with feedback in the comment sections on those posting pages and tweak it. And maybe there's a tweaked version that came out later in January that replaced it. Who knows? But for right now, for the package that we're showing you, that's how it turned out. This is beautiful. Very nice and colorful, huh? Lots of It really pops, by the way, not just on camera, but looking at it live because of the AMOLED screen, the vibrancy of the colors. It's great. Really a very brilliant, beautiful watch face there. Wow! Oh, I like this one. You know, usually when I look, I find maybe, I don't know, 2 to 5 favorites. I already got 2, that one with all the gears back there, and now this one. As I go through, it's like, okay, I'm going to make a mental note of that because they're going to make my big personal package that I put on all of my watches to play with. Cool, huh? I can just hear those of you sitting with a Kingwear KW88 or a new IQI i4 or even the Z-Blaze Thor going, I want that watch face, I want that one too. Will this run on my watch? No. The answer is no, they won't right now. Remember, we're stepping back in time to December of last year. That's before Kingwear and all the others modified their clock face engine to accommodate doing these watch faces in the style that Finau and Number One have been doing all along. There's one little problem, though. The way that the engine that drives these to make them available, the way the engine works on the, I'm going to call it the Kingwear KW88 class of watches, because that class includes all the Android watches except for the ones from Finau or Number One. So it includes Z-Blaze, it includes IQI. All of those guys have, as they've upgraded their firmware, have implemented the process where you can do this clock skin folder with all of the things that make these watches run, except for one little file is different. And it's the one that lets you see that thumbnail. So when I press and hold, the little thumbnail here is called by one name for one grouping, and it's called by a different name for the other. So if you have the version that has the name that works with Finau or Number One, you see it perfectly like this on this watch, but you won't see it at all on the other. We have a video up there. I think it's the one talking about the change in the Kingwear firmware. I'll have a link to it down below. And if you want these watch faces to run on your non-Finau, non-Number One smartwatch, like the Kingwear KW88 or one of the others, you simply have to follow the procedures that are in that little video, duplicate one file and give it a different name, and all of a sudden it'll all work for you and work fine when you install any or all of these watch faces from December 2016 or any of the previous months that you see in the watch face reviews we've already done from, I think we started in April or something like that of 2016, month by month. All of those need modification in order to work on these other Android smartwatches. But it can be done. It's not complicated. And, you know, kind of a little fun thing for you to do. It teaches you, the basics about duplicating files, but you also learn a bit about working with moving these things to and from the cloud to your computer to modifying it, and I like that one too, and then to your watch after it's been modified. Now, none of that you have to even listen to. You can just turn it down and turn up your music watching all of these, as long as what you have is like a Finau X5 Plus, X3 Plus, or even the original Number One D5, D6, D6 Plus, D5 Plus. I don't know. All of those work with these straight out of the zip file. And talking about a zip file, to explain to you what you're going to get if you go down in the show notes down below and download the zip file of all of these watch faces. Don't get too excited now. You're not going to get a big clock skin folder that has all of these things in it that you just drag and drop to your watch and be done with it. Those days are gone. We really want you to honor the process that we all have had to go through to get these watch faces for you. That means inside the zip file, when you unzip it, you're going to get little individual pages, little note pages. On each note page is 3 things. There's the title of the watch face, which is good because sometimes if you can't find these things, and as long as you have the title, you can search within the G Plus community or even just through Google. Look at that. And from that search, you might be able to bring up the actual posting. If it's been moved, taken down, or shifted somehow, you could possibly get to it that way. But if it's still up, and most of them are still up on the G Plus community, they're just not visible. Google changed how far you can scroll into the past. And a lot of them are beyond current dates. And you can't see them, but you can get to them if you have the link. And that's the third thing that's on there. The name of the file, a picture so you can see what it looks like, and then the link that you copy and paste in your browser takes you right to the original poster's page from the G Plus community. And from that page, you can read about it. You can learn about the attribution, the homage. You can study the comments, and you can click on the download link and download it directly from the person who created it. That's the way to do it. Now I'm going to take a pause and reset the time so that we're back up to about 5 after 10. You know, the ideal time is 10 after 10. That's what you usually see when you see these little thumbnails, except for this one. All of the professional designers have learned that you set it for 10 after 10 like that one. That's the way to do it. Beginners are it's so fun to watch these things evolve. Anyway, so I try to keep it between 10 o'clock and 10:15-ish or so as we show these things to you. Here's an Omega, another nice design. And again, when you find that one in the zip file pack, another one, you simply click on the link or copy and paste it to your browser, and you'll go to the developer's posting for this to download it. Okay, some more stuff. So, I know there's a lot in here, and there's also a lot to talk about. Let's get back to talking about the overall concept behind the watch faces. If you happen to have an earlier KW88 and you haven't updated the firmware, or something like an older IQI i3, or some of the other older watches, I think a Z-Blaze Blitz perhaps. Anyway, the older ones that don't have the updated firmware, or perhaps they're never going to have the updated firmware, they don't use this type of concept at all for installing custom watch faces. Whole different way of doing it. And I don't want to bog you down on that because this is really for the folks that can do this. But if your watch does not support using clock skin folder technique for adding watch faces, but instead uses something called APKs, and APK is the 3-digit thing on the end that refers to applications, your apps that you basically install. Well, there's a different technique that you make your watch faces. That's a beautiful green, changing blue. I don't know. It's got something nice to it. I hope it's coming through on the camera. It looks really big on the watch face. But the APK thing's like an application. You put it on your watch, you run it, and it loads the watch face, in a sense, in memory like an app, but you're able to actually see it on the watch when you bring it up. Ooh, look at that. That's fascinating. I guess a lot of stuff's going on in that one. Huh, okay. Like I said, I haven't seen any of these. Oh, wow. And it's old for me now. I mean, wow, we're into May already. Which also, I want to point out, if I can, I'm going to try to continue archiving each and every one of the watch faces from the G Plus community all the way from January. I don't think I'm going to be able to. It's a lot of work. But if I can, I will. If I don't, and you're interested in some of these watch faces, I highly encourage you to go over to the G Plus community. Take the time to download them, especially from the beginning of January forward. Because, like I mentioned, Google now only will support a certain number of scrollable entries in any of their communities. It doesn't go on forever anymore. And once you get to what they consider the bottom, you can't go any further. So if you like this watch face, and it's not there when you scroll. The only way you can get to it is if you have the exact link to get to the page, which you will with having the zip file, but you won't from January forward because I'm not providing that. Or you need to know the name of the watch face, which is not usually what you see on the watch itself, and it's not printed anywhere or displayed anywhere. So magically, you need to know the name that the developer gave it and put that in the search box on the left-hand side of the G Plus community. And then, with luck, you can get to that watch face posting through a name search or the developer's name search if you know the developer. Or Rolex, if it's a Rolex watch, you can always try that and see if he used the word Rolex in the description or something. Be creative, but you might be able to get to it. But the best solution, for sure, for you, for now, if you like watch faces and you want to make sure you get the best ones now, go back at least like to January 1st of this year in the G Plus community and start paging through them and selectively download them, or download all of them if you're as fanatical as I am, and make sure you have them before they time out in the scroll by and you can't get to it anymore. Wow. Wow, like a snow globe. Look, there's the sheen up there, everything. Merry Christmas. Nice. I think I'll hold on to that one come holiday season 2017, something to show off when I'm standing in line to check out all those Christmas presents, huh? Okay. A Seiko. Tells me we're into the S's most likely now. There are, like I said, a whole bunch of them. Usually we did these parade of watch faces with 40 or 50. I think I had some... the first one was over 100. That was a long time ago. And it brings up the fact that there's still out there an XDA developers forum for watch faces. Not used as often because there's other resources available, but they're still there, and there's watch faces that you can download from there as well. We don't have, the whole archive connected links to the developers' pages, but if you are bored and want to take some time to scroll through them, on that forum, you can go back to the beginning of time, to page 1, and go through each and every page if you want. And actually, at the very beginning, I'd say the first 600 postings or so, there's pretty good information and watch faces available the early years. Here they got the hour hand is hour and minute hand is minute, cute, on a silver background, which looks nice against this silver X5 Plus, huh? And V for victory, I happen to recognize that's the last one, folks, because it's at the very end of the alphabet. Now, in terms of the stock watch faces that come with the X5 Plus, in case you haven't seen those, these are production now. This is what you get if you buy the watch right now. That very, very first one that you saw, that was stock. Then they put all of these custom faces in between there and the rest of them. So as we switch here, these are now all the watch faces that come installed on the watch. You don't need to do anything except buy the watch. There's this one of a crumpled piece of paper. This one of the dual rotating concentric blue stuff. This one here, which has got the kaleidoscopic thing with the date and battery power. I mean, with the time and battery power. This is, personally, I think this is excellent. This is awesome. When I'm out and about, I really want to know what the time is and what the power is that I've got left. I don't care much about anything else, in the moment. And so this one really works for me. It works for me so well that actually this is one that I created. Well, I modified a modification. 3 or 4 different elements. The background thing was created by one person, but it wasn't doing it quite like that. This rotating thing was one of the stock watch faces. The fonts come from different ones, all put together, glued down, and sent off to FINOW, and they decided to adopt it into their watches. So kind of proud of that. That's a little SmartWatch Ticks piece. Here's another one that was originally on a wood, I think it was called wooden, and it had a wood background to it, which was kind of busy, but when the background was taken away and the rest of it left, it really looked nice. And that became a stock watch face as well. Here's some more. These, again, were custom faces. You can actually see these in the earlier rendition of some of the Parade of Watch faces. I think this was an Andrew Somers device. Pardon me if I'm wrong, Andrew, but I think Andrew did this one, or Andrew Davis maybe. This, I think, was the part of the Borg series from Star Trek, Star Wars, the Star thing. Anyway, this is another one that has become a stock face from originally being a custom face. Here's like a sweep radar thing. The early, you've seen the radar faces. This is an early one before it became all radar-ish. There's another one, goes all the way back, I'm sure, to the XDA Developers Forum on watch faces. Check that out. I think that one's one of the very, very originals. Here's another one. It says Retro Watch. Again, these are all the stock watch faces that come with it. That's a classic. We've seen that everywhere. There's a new one, I think, Alrod modified, that puts a mask, like a Halloween mask in here with blinking eyes, but it's this background watch faces as the template from which it works. Here's another different kind of analog-digital combination. So Finow has really amped up the number of stock watch faces that come already pre-installed, all these that you're looking at. And in addition, you have that ability to download hundreds now, literally hundreds of custom watch faces already pre-set up and working on the Finow and number 1 type watches. You don't have to make any modification at all. Here's another one, definitely seen that one in our developers groupings. Another one. I know we're getting long, so I'm just going to push on through here. There's the one with the rotating turbo fan. There was a whole wave. It's almost like you can define the 60s and the 70s by their music. We can define the spring of this year or the fall of that year by what was the rage at the time. And there was the turbo rage and the moire pattern rage and all sorts of different things. The combination clock period where everybody was messing around with trying to, do you turn the dial or do you turn the little tickers there? How do you want to make your rotating combination lock type of feel? And they come and go. They get revisited from time to time. And here's the big turbo one with glowing blue hands. And of course, you can get in there and tweak the rotation of that thing if you wanted to go faster or slower. Another stock watch face. This one of the old originals. I think it was a brand name, and that was in the middle, and all that's been removed. But this changing date is pretty cool. That actually changes, the number and the day of the week could rotate. I think that was a trick to figure out. Then you have this one where you hit the plus sign. It ties into their server, and it shows you all sorts of additional watch faces that you can download. Now, this is a universal server, I think, that feeds many of the watches. So the one we just looked at is here in the server. But on other number 1, or Finow, in this case, Finow watches that don't have these stock watch faces, well, looky, here they are. And they could be downloaded to your X3 Plus, for example. So lots of possibilities, lots of combinations going on here for watches. And that is our parade of watch faces, both the custom ones and all of these developer watch faces from December 2016 at the G Plus community for round Android smartwatch faces. The links are down below. Information, everything you need to get access to all of this. There are instructions all over the web on how to do it. It's not a hard thing, and it's really sweet to have all these watch faces available to you. So there you go. Those of you really wanting to see a new watch, I'm sorry, they're on the way. They're all in the mail right now. They will be up very soon. In the meantime, enjoy the watch faces, gang, and we'll talk to you later.